Is Spider-Man the new Iron Man of the MCU? I'm Danielle Radford, and this is Screen Junkies News. Peter Parker just wants to hold your hand through a post-Avengers Infinity War MCU, that is. Just as Iron Man was our window into Marvel's burgeoning cinematic universe, it sounds like our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man will be the one that guides us into whatever Marvel's up to after Avengers 4. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige told IO9, quote, "So much happens in the third and fourth Avengers movies, as you can imagine, and so much is affected by it that we felt what better person to hold your hand and lead you into the next incarnation of the MCU in a grounded, realistic manner than Peter Parker. Like how the events of Captain America Civil War impacted Peter as he was dropped off by Tony and expected to go back to continue his sophomore year, how the hell are the events of Infinity War and Untitled Avengers going to affect him as he, yes, goes back to his junior year? And what kind of misadventures can we expect our mighty Marvel heroes to get up to in Phase 4? Well, we'll have to wait a little longer to find out." Feige also said, quote, "I hope the news comes after that. I think there will be certain elements that start to come about, not the least of which is the already announced release date of the next Spider-Man film. But other than that, we're going to keep it very close to the vest because this is really about focusing on the unprecedented conclusion to a 22-movie overarching narrative." So what does all of this mean for the future of the MCU? Here to break it down with me is DJ Wooldridge. Hello, Deej.
Good morning.
Heck yeah, punch that story.
I hope that title sticks and it just ends up being called Untitled Avengers.
No, it's great. It could be like their B-side.
Yeah,
this is the Untitled
Avengers.
Avengers White Album.
Yeah.
So hearing this news, do you think that
Yes.
Spider-Man is the right character to lead us into a Phase 4?
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. He's arguably Marvel's most popular character. So if they have access to him, it makes sense that to emphasize that, especially if the movie does as well as it looks like it's going to. And I mean, like his suit is heavily designed by Tony Stark. It looks like he could carry on that spirit, but he doesn't necessarily have the same access as like Tony Stark does too. Like he's not going to take a jet to Wakanda to hang out with Black Panther. Like that's not going to happen.
Right. He is still, as they say, like a sophomore and junior in high school.
Yeah, he can't even drive probably at this point.
Oh, can he? Yeah, I want to know. I want to see Spider-Man learn how to drive. That actually is really interesting to me.
I think there might have been like a promo trailer or something where he's trying to get his license.
That's fantastic. I love that.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you mentioned the access.
Yes.
I'm wondering if maybe it's more of a audience insert character, like Peter's someone for us to identify with.
That's part of his popularity is that he's easily identifiable. The other challenge with it is that with there's been a lot of misinformation or misunderstandings with Sony about just whether Venom's included or not in the MCU.
Right.
You've got sometimes they're like, hey, he's not. Now they're like, oh, he is. Now we're back to him not being involved. Tune in next week when he'll be a part of the MCU again.
Right. So if it wouldn't be Spider-Man, what other characters do you think would work well as the person to shepherd us and hold our hands through Avengers 4?
I mean, they've got a few. They've got Doctor Strange would be interesting because he can clearly just teleport across the world. So that's nice. We were talking off camera a little bit. Black Panther would be great.
Black Panther would be great.
Yeah, because he's basically like if you combined Iron Man and Batman, like who wouldn't want that to be their figurehead for their universe?
Kind of like Captain Wakanda.
Exactly. Yeah.
Plus, he can go anywhere. I mean, dude's part of the UN, so he's got that access as well.
How about you? Do you have a person that you're like, this is the person that should be the...
Well, I think as we're going more cosmic, I think it would be great to have someone like a Captain Marvel who could come in and do any of that. Just if it does look like we may be expanding beyond just what's happening on Earth and a few key planets, I think that she would be a good person to lead us into that next phase.
I agree.
So we were talking about this. Obviously, they're saying if Spider-Man is the next person to lead us in, that means that we're going to be seeing some shakeups. What big shakeups do you think are going to happen for Phase 4?
Well, it's interesting because that quote that you read, like Feige, they're holding their cards close to their vest as they wait to see what happens with Avengers 4. So it is interesting to think about, could it be a full overhaul? Could we not be getting a Thor 4, an Iron Man 4, and a Cap 4?
Right.
Are they going to be focusing more on characters like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and the gang?
Well, and which is interesting because there is this entire you know, magical part of the MCU that we haven't gotten too much into.
Yeah.
Some of that, even if you're going with some of the spider totem stuff, even does kind of connect to Spider-Man.
Ooh, I hope we don't get that.
I do not want spider totem.
I don't need that.
No, I don't need that at all. Madam Web, I need. I need Madam Web.
Okay.
I do not need spider totem at all. Not even a little bit. So do you think, and we could also go cosmic, like I was mentioning?
Like James Gunn's been talking a lot about the way they've been talking about Guardians 3. It's almost like he's the shepherd of the cosmic side of the universe. So could we be getting more emphasis on that? Those movies do so well, it wouldn't surprise me. And Captain Marvel, like you said, is kind of a bridge to that too. So could we be getting 2 or 3 more teams or characters that kind of inhabit that aspect of the universe? Can we get the long-awaited Quasar film that everybody's been asking for?
Quasar. Okay, I don't think anybody's been asking about that. And so we do know what was Joe Blow asked, you know, could this be the final chapter for some of their core characters? And Kevin Feige was like, yeah,
short but definitive.
Yep.
Yes.
So
I feel like that should be all interviews. Like, hey, what do you think about Spider-Man being a part of Phase 4? We like it.
It sounds great.
We're a fan.
It's like, okay, great.
Cool.
Run that quote.
We'll print it.
Super easy to say as well. So if it sounds like we are losing some core characters, there's been speculation that some people may straight up die.
Yes.
All right, so with all of that in mind, and with that being said, the boys in the lab have given us a challenge. Since it does look like some of our favorite characters might be going, what they would like for us to do now is play a game that they have called Death Comes for Us All, even your favorite characters. And so what we're going to do is...
better names. They're so bad at names.
Y'all do need to work on names. We just need a new lab. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick characters, and we're going to figure out plausible ways for them to die. We're going to put it up on a Twitter poll. The link will be in the description down below. You guys let us know what you think. Which one do you think is more plausible? All right, what are you thinking?
All right,
what do you think?
I'm thinking Thor.
Thor.
I think because you want to do a character, if the threat is real, you want to go to one of the big guns, one of the top 3. But I think of the top 3, he's the lower part of the top 3.
He's like the third.
Yeah,
he's the 3.
He's the 3. So maybe I think he's the easiest one to get rid of. And I would say I think you need to get him out like right off the bat, because here's what we got of Thanos so far in these 22 movies we've been doing. There's a lot of him sitting in a chair.
So much. He is chilling.
He's chilling out.
He's
put a glove on his hand. So far, the threat is I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah.
So I think within like the first 10 minutes of Avengers Infinity War, Thor needs to find whatever that last Infinity Stone is. He's like, oh, dope. And then Thanos shows up and just cleans his clock.
Oh, and that shows like how powerful this dude is when he stands up.
Yeah, we just had Ragnarok. Well, at that point, we'll have had Ragnarok, where we see Thor hopefully doing some amazing, cool, kick-ass things.
Oh, that makes so much sense, because
you're like,
him.
oh, Thor's awesome. And then 5 minutes in, Thanos is just—it's not even a fair fight. He's just thrown around. Maybe he does what the Mountain did to the Red Viper in Game of Thrones. Spoilers, but like PG-13 version of that.
Yeah.
That's my pitch. Thor. Vote on the Twitter poll. Thor.
Wow, that's a really good pick. For me, I'm gonna say Captain America, and I feel like I'm probably slightly cheating, because I feel like we all kind of assume the Cap is gonna pass away. And I think it's going to be one of those things where I also think it's gonna be Thanos. Yeah. And I think it's gonna be another instance of Cap being like, I could do this all day, and like showing that even if someone, that's my Cap impersonation.
No, I just like he's like, I can do this all day, and Thanos just crushes him. Just, no,
he's like, no, you can't. This was the last day.
This was the last day.
In fact, this was the last day you could do that. So that's what I think, because I think that with someone like a Captain America, he is going to fight even if it looks like the odds are against him.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll get both. Maybe we'll get that like Thor straight up gets murdered, and Cap's like, no, not my friend.
What if he takes out all Cap, Thor, and Iron Man all in one fight?
Ooh, Iron Man. How would you want to see Iron Man get it?
He doesn't have the arc reactor. There's been some press images of Infinity War. It looks like he has his arc reactor.
Yeah, people think that he has one because he's
just
got like that rip in his shirt.
Thanos just rips it out.
Yeah, but that's... So what else do you think?
I want to go back to your Captain America, because I want them to do the classic movie thing where like he's on his deathbed and he's like, I couldn't go all day. And that's it. That's the end. And then Iron Man. So Cap sees Thor die and he rushes in, and then he couldn't go all day. And then Iron Man goes in, and then he gets his core reactor yanked out.
Even though that's
with the heart
not
attack.
Really. So if he is back to an arc reactor, if that is what we're doing, oh, you just like Mortal Kombat style?
Yeah,
he just reaches in and pulls out his heart in a PG-13.
I want Mortal Kombat fatalities in my Avengers Infinity War.
Look, I want Mortal Kombat and fatalities and everything.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's not a bad impulse.
How do you think Iron Man's going to die?
I think that Iron Man is going to die. I think because what we've had so much of this arc of Iron Man has been him being in conflict with the other Avengers. He has to die saving another Avenger.
That's good, because a lot of bad things are his fault.
A lot of,
He's messed up a lot of core things in this universe.
Yeah, so I think it's got to be maybe like he finally sees like Bucky is doing something heroic and like Bucky's about to get it, so Iron Man like goes over and is just like boom, like straight up murdered.
How about he sees guns are going to fire at Hawkeye and then he rushes in real quick and saves Hawkeye, but then he gets shot and you're like, but wait, why were you fast enough to save? I'm sorry, that's a different.
Well, no, but maybe also maybe
that's a different thing.
Maybe he makes up for Rhodey, and that's what happens is that something is about to happen with Rhodey.
He gives Rhodey his legs.
He's not going to give Rhodey his. That's not. All right, well, thank you so much, DJ, for giving me your plausible depths. And we have heard from him, but now we want to hear from you. We want to know what characters and stories you'd like to see in Marvel Phase 4. Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to check out that Twitter poll link in the description. Thanks for watching. Please click here for more internets. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that little bell so you get notifications. Bye!